Hey, and welcome to today's episode of Brand OTC or Brand Over the Counter, where we answer your branding questions with a faux over the counter product. Now, today's product is called Structura, and it helps to build the backbone of your brand system. So, if you're struggling with a scattered message, unclear offers, or brand confusion, this is the episode for you. Well, hello. My name is Cynthia Kita, and I'm your brand strategist, designer, and educator here at the Design Firmacy. And today's question is, what is a branded framework and why do I need one? Now, if you're not aware, here at the Design Firmacy, our signature framework is called Brand Vitals. And Brand Vitals consists of 9 core areas or vitals, like vital signs, that help you create a strong brand that is living and breathing and personified, one that can get your audience's attention and help them feel and relate with you like you would a human being. So your branded framework is actually the final vital or the final stage of our Brand Vitals framework. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in this episode. So let's get started. A branded framework is one of the most important, yet it's one of the most overlooked parts of your entire brand strategy. It's not something that's just a model, or most times we like to look at it as a diagram, one of those flow charts that we just add some colors to and put some text on. It is so much more than that. It is actually the system that explains how your brand works. It explains how transformation happens in your brand and why your method is different from anyone else's. So you can think of it as the anatomy of your brand's process. It is the internal structure that makes everything flow with clarity and confidence. So in this episode, we're just going to break down what that branded framework is, why you need one, and how it's going to elevate your entire business. So again, a branded framework is a structured, repeatable process that explains how you deliver transformation. It typically outlines the steps, the phases, the pillars, or the components of your specific method, not anyone else's. It is yours. And it shows that your results are not random, but that they're intentional and that they're a repeatable process, as I previously mentioned. And you can think of it as your intellectual property in an organized form. And so sometimes people get a framework mixed up. So it's not like your SOP, your operating procedures or anything like that. But the main goal here is that the end goal is transformation. And so let's say you are like a trainer, an athletic trainer. And let's say that you work with the NBA, you work with basketball teams, and you make sure that your athletes have fewer injuries in a basketball season. That is something that people are going to want because no one wants to lose out on playing for their team at any given time. And so let's say that you have a very specific process where you have your players do certain dynamic stretches and workouts, and then you have them lay on a table and get a massage, and then you have them do XYZ, and all of those things help prevent them from getting hurt or getting injured during the game. That is your specific structured, repeatable process because they have to go from step 1 to step 2, step 2 to step 3. And the end goal is that they do not get injured, and you've been successful in doing so. That is a framework. Okay, it's not that that you go and maybe you send an email or something like that. It's a very structured process that you can repeat in order to deliver that transformation. Now, why is it essential for clarity and confidence? When you have a framework, it eliminates scattered messaging by giving your brand a very clear path to follow. Clarity. It gives it a clear path to follow. And it instantly elevates your authority because you're showing a very strategic approach and you're not just talking about it. And so we can all have an approach. I'm sure we all, like throughout life, we all have our various frameworks that we stick to that help our lives go well, help things to be a lot easier for us compared to what someone else may do. And it's our own, right? And it allows us to actually act that thing out. And so in a business, you're showing that you are the boss because you're constantly doing that specific thing. It's not just a theory, it's something that you're acting out. And so it helps your customers understand how you help them. And it's not just about what you sell. And so again, think overall transformation. Now, your framework makes your offers a bit easier to sell because when people understand the journey, they can feel safer when they're investing in you. And so your framework becomes the core of your programs. It becomes the core of your workshops, your speaking engagements, and your content. I mean, it doesn't just end there. It has an ecosystem of its own. For example, we have Brand Vitals. So we have an assessment, and that transformation that we're providing you to help you personify your brand, that is the basis of every single thing that we do. It's the basis of our community. It's the basis of the workshops that we do. It's the basis of the offers that we have. It's the basis of, I'm writing a book. So it is the basis of the books that I'll be writing. It'll be the basis of whatever speaking engagements that I have, any podcast interview, so on and so forth. And so you'll see that framework really coming alive. And because of that, the buyers will clearly see where they're starting, what they'll gain, and where the transformation is going to come. So that framework is going to keep your brand consistent and scalable because that branded framework becomes the operating system of your brand. If you're a technical person, you'll understand that a little bit better. It's that operating system. If you have an iPhone, if you're team Apple, you'll see that every so often the system gets an update. And so that's basically the framework. Like they're fixing it, they're updating it, they're bringing it up to date so that the ecosystem works, because it's not just about your phone, right? It's also about the laptops and the iPads and the watches and all of the things that they were able to build out of that one operating system. And so having that framework, I keep saying framework, sorry, that framework ensures that your content, your offers, your messaging, and even your visuals all pull in the same direction, that consistency. And as you grow, your team members, your collaborators, and even your clients will understand your method without confusion, and they will patronize it. Like it'll become a part of their language, their lingo. Now, having your framework makes your brand more memorable because your frameworks give your audience something to grasp. It makes things a bit more tangible for them. So the names that you use, the phases, the icons, and the progression that you take them through will help your brand to stand out because your unique process is going to become the thing that people repeat when they're referring you to others, as I mentioned earlier. Again, it will become a part of their language, their lingo. Now, your branded framework creates differentiation. It sets you apart from others because your competitors, they can copy your posts, they can copy your pricing, they can even copy your visual style. And I know some of us have been there when we didn't have brand strategy. But at the end of the day, all of these copycats cannot duplicate your process. They cannot duplicate your brain, your logic, and your proprietary methods. And so this is where your brand has a chance to truly be unreplicable. It really helps you to stand out. And so you're probably thinking, I don't think I have a framework. I can almost guarantee that you probably do, but you don't realize that you do because you've just become so accustomed to doing it. But at the end of the day, your framework is going to show the how behind your promise. And that's why it's important to have a promise in your business, because if your brand is a person, your branded framework is the skeleton, and that's where personifying your brand comes in. Your branded framework is the skeleton, and it is the structure that literally holds everything up in your entire brand vital structure and strategy. And it communicates the internal logic behind your results. It shows that transformation is not accidental in your business, it's actually strategic and engineered. There is a purpose and a plan for it. And so your framework should align with your brand vitals approach completely and in totality. It should reflect your brand's personality, your philosophy, your values, your core, all the additional 8 areas of the brand vitals framework. It should connect to your offers, your touch points, and your experiences, and it should flow like a beautiful fairy tale story. Well, maybe not the fairy tale part, because everything's not always perfect, but it should flow like a story, one where your audience is starting, they'll walk through it, and then it tells where they will become, what transformation they will receive. And so all in all, a brand without a framework can still exist. I do want to be clear about that. But a brand with a framework becomes credible. It becomes one that can be scaled. It becomes referable, and it absolutely becomes unforgettable because, again, it becomes the language of your audience. Your framework is your proof. It is your process, and it is absolutely your power. It's your superpower. And so, if you want some help building a brand that speaks when you're not in the room, I want you to go ahead and join my free community, Personify My Brand. You can get access to the Brand Vitals Assessment for free, as well as some additional trainings, discussions, and behind the scenes strategy. So go ahead and visit personifymybrand.com/group. And I will see you in there. Let's build a brand with structure, clarity, and confidence, the kind that your audience can feel and share with others. All right. I will catch you in the next episode. Bye. Discover what sets your brand apart, then say it with confidence. What's Your Secret Sauce is a free 3-day challenge designed to help entrepreneurs uncover the unique flavor that makes their brand unforgettable. Through guided prompts, live training, and powerful clarity exercises, you'll identify what truly sets you apart and how to communicate it in a way that connects and converts. If you've ever struggled to stand out in a crowded market or explain what makes you different, this challenge will give you the breakthrough you need. You'll walk away with your personalized secret sauce recipe, a clear, compelling blend of your brand's strengths, purpose, and positioning that makes selling feel natural. Join us by visiting brandmysecretsauce.com. You're doing all the things: posting content, updating your website, running ads, tweaking your offers, but still wondering, why isn't this working? Truth is, you might be focusing on areas that look productive, but aren't actually moving the needle. The Brand Vitals Assessment helps you stop guessing and start targeting. It's like a wellness checkup, but for your brand. You'll gain crystal clear insight into the 9 essential areas every brand needs to thrive. No fluff, no filler, just facts about where your brand stands and what needs your focus. Because clarity is the first step to real momentum. And when you know where to focus, you start to see progress, not just activity. Get out of busy work. Get into brand building that actually works. Take the Brand Vitals Assessment now. Have you tapped into your Firmacy benefits? As a beneficiary, you unlock special offers, gifts, and always stay in the loop. Subscribe today to receive your exclusive dose. Visit firmacybenefits.com.